The courtroom was full, but respect was missing. People had gathered not to witness justice, but drama. Phones were ready, whispers floated in the air. And curiosity filled every corner of the room. At the center of it all stood a woman, quiet, composed. Her hands folded tightly as if holding her dignity together with sheer will. Across from her sat her husband. He leaned back in his chair with a smug smile, arms crossed, eyes cold. To him, this was not a serious moment. It was a performance. And he was enjoying every second of it. When the judge asked him to speak, he laughed. Not nervously. Not awkwardly. He laughed confidently. "She's pretending," he said loudly. "That's what she does best." Some people chuckled. Others looked away. The woman did not raise her head. He continued, mocking her voice. Her emotions, even the sacrifices she had made during their marriage. Every sentence was carefully chosen to humiliate her. He spoke as if she were not standing there. As if she were an object being discussed. Not a human being who once shared his life. "She's useless," he said. "Always crying. Always complaining. I carried this marriage on my back." The woman's fingers trembled slightly. Her breathing slowed, not from fear, but from exhaustion. She had defended herself for years. At home. In public. In silence. Today, she chose silence again, not because she had nothing to say, but because she knew some battles were not meant to be fought by shouting. The judge cleared his throat, uncomfortable, but allowed the men to continue. That was when the door at the back of the courtroom opened. No one noticed at first. An elderly woman stepped inside. Her hair was wrapped neatly, her clothes simple. Her posture straight despite her age. Her eyes scanned the room slowly. Taking everything in, the laughter. The arrogance, the woman standing alone. She stopped when her eyes met her daughter's lowered face. And in that moment, something changed. The elderly woman did not rush forward. She did not interrupt. She simply stood there, listening. Every cruel word spoken by the husband landed in her ears like a stone. Each insult echoed with memories, memories of nights when her daughter cried quietly. Of mornings when she forced a smile. Of phone calls that ended with silence because explaining pain felt pointless. When the husband finally paused, smiling proudly at his own performance, the woman took a step forward. "Excuse me," she said calmly. Her voice was not loud, but it carried weight. The courtroom turned. Heads twisted. Whispers died instantly. The judge looked surprised. "And you are?" "I am her mother." The husband rolled his eyes and laughed again. "Of course you are. This explains everything." But the laughter did not spread this time. The mother walked slowly toward the front. Each step felt deliberate, grounded. She stood beside her daughter but did not touch her yet. Instead, she looked directly at the men. "I didn't come here to fight," she said. "I came here to remind." The judge hesitated, then nodded. "You may speak." The husband smirked. "Go on. I'd love to hear this." The mother turned toward the courtroom. "My daughter was raised to believe that marriage is partnership. Not punishment," she said. She was taught that love is care, not control. She looked back at the men. "You call her weak," she continued. "But you forget who she was before she became your wife. You forget the woman who stood beside you when you had nothing but promises." The man shifted in his seat. "She cooked for you when success had not yet found you," the mother said. "She prayed for you when your own faith was weak. She protected your name even when her heart was breaking." The room grew quiet. "You mock her today," the mother said softly. "Because you believe humiliation makes you powerful." She paused. "But power that needs cruelty to survive is already dead." The husband's smile faded. The mother finally placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. The woman flinched slightly, then relaxed. For the first time that day, she felt supported. "I watched her disappear slowly," the mother continued. "Not physically, but emotionally. She stopped laughing the way she used to. She stopped dreaming out loud. And every time I asked what was wrong, she protected you." The man opened his mouth to speak, but the judge raised a hand. Let her finish. The mother nodded gratefully. You say she embarrassed you, she said. But tell me, how does a woman embarrass a man by asking for respect? She looked around the courtroom. Since when did dignity become a crime? No one answered. The mother turned back to the men. You humiliated her because you believed no one would stand up for her. Her voice hardened, not angry, but firm. You were wrong. The men swallowed. His confidence cracked. You forgot one thing, she said. Before she was your wife, she was my child. The room felt heavier now. Even the air seemed still. I did not raise her to beg for love, the mother said. I raised her to recognize her worth, even if it takes time. She faced the judge. This case is not just about marriage, she said. It is about respect. And respect cannot be demanded through fear. The judge leaned forward, thoughtful. The husband looked around, searching for support. There was none. When the judge finally spoke, his voice was measured. This courtroom is not a stage for mockery, he said. It is a place for truth. He turned to the husband. You treated this case like entertainment, the judge continued. But what I see here is a pattern of emotional abuse disguised as confidence. The husband stood abruptly. That's not true. The judge raised his voice slightly. Sit down. The men froze, then slowly sat. The judge looked at the woman, the wife. Do you wish to speak? He asked gently. She hesitated. Her mother squeezed her shoulder. The woman lifted her head. For a long time, I believed silence would keep the peace, she said quietly. But silence only taught him that my pain didn't matter. Her voice steadied as she continued. I didn't come here to destroy him, she said. I came here to stop being destroyed. The courtroom listened. I am not perfect, she said. But I am human. And I deserve respect. The judge nodded. He looked back at the husband. You mocked her today, he said. But what you revealed was not her weakness, it was your character. The verdict that followed was clear. Not just legally, but morally. The husband's face drained of color. He had lost control of the narrative he thought he owned. As people began to leave, no one looked at him anymore. They looked at the woman. And at her mother. She thought the pain was over when she stepped out of the courtroom. She was wrong. Outside, the sun was bright, but the air felt heavy. Reporters had gathered, whispering, pointing, waiting for a reaction. She held her mother's hand tightly, afraid that if she let go, the weight of everything might pull her back into the past. Then she heard his voice again. Wait. Her body froze before her mind could respond. The husband stood a few steps away. His face no longer arrogant, but dangerous in a quieter way. The kind of calm that comes when pride is wounded and revenge begins to form. You think you won? He said softly. She said nothing. He laughed bitterly. You humiliated me in there. Her mother stepped forward. You humiliated yourself. His eyes burned. This isn't over. For a moment, fear tried to return. The old fear. The familiar fear. But something had changed. She looked at him, truly looked at him, and realized something terrifyingly simple. He no longer had power over her. You're right, she said calmly, it isn't over. He smirked, good, because without me you are nothing. She took a breath. Without you, she said, I finally remembered who I was. The words struck him harder than the verdict ever had. He lunged forward, his anger spilling out, but security intervened immediately. Cameras flashed. People gasped, the image of the perfect husband shattered in real time. And then, another voice spoke. A young woman stepped forward from the crowd. I want to speak, she said, her voice shaking. Everyone turned. She looked at the husband. I was next. Silence exploded. She explained how he had promised her help. Mentorship, protection, how his kindness turned into control. How she escaped before it became a prison. Then another woman stepped forward. Then another. Each story was different. Each ending was the same. The husband's face drained of color. This was the moment he never expected. He had mocked one woman, but he had awakened many. Police arrived quietly. Handcuffs clicked softly. The sound echoed louder than his laughter ever had. As he was led away, he screamed, "You destroyed my life." The mother met his eyes one last time. "No," she said, "you lived your life, now you're facing it." The crowd slowly dispersed. The woman stood there shaking, not from fear but release. Later that evening they sat together at home, a small quiet place, no luxury, no noise. The mother poured tea. "You were brave today," she said. The woman smiled faintly. "I was terrified." "That's what bravery is," her mother replied. Days later a letter arrived. A job offer. A new city. A fresh beginning. She stood at the window, watching the sunrise, and realized something profound. The court did not free her. Her mother did not save her. Justice did not rescue her. She rescued herself the moment she stopped believing she deserved to be mocked. Somewhere far away a man learned too late that power built on cruelty always collapses. And somewhere closer a woman learned that silence is not weakness. It is the pause before a voice becomes unstoppable.